Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm back. And I fell off a little bit, but here's the thing. I am still here and committed to coming and giving you information in real time. So I missed you yesterday and even the day before for you good folk off of Instagram. But I'm back with another chat. So this is Catherine Beasley, and we are talking all things Alzheimer's all day. And this time I just wanted to revisit some things because I was doing a training today and um, it had like a question with debunking certain myths regarding debunking myths about Alzheimer's disease. And I just thought it'd be important enough to talk about a few of these things that just came up again. And the first and foremost is that dementia, right? Having decreased cognitive skills as you age, Alzheimer's, it is not a normal part of the aging process. So do not accept or allow your loved ones to accept that, oh, I'm just getting older and me not having as good of a memory as normal. Because I just came from an event listening to the Kathy Hughes talk. And if she wasn't more perky and just on it than I think I am, I don't know who is. So it's not standard that you go through the memory loss and the other symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia as you age just because you're aging. So don't accept that as a part of your narrative or the narrative of your loved ones, right? We want to make sure that we keep them healthy and that we make sure that they are doing the things that they can do to stave that off, to stay active, to do anything that will prevent them from getting it if possible. And there's nothing that we don't know what to do to necessarily prevent it, right? We eat well, we exercise, we keep ourselves mentally active, all those things. We could do that and still get the disease. But my point is that we don't accept that dementia, any form of it, is a natural occurrence just happening because you're older, because it is not true and you don't have to get it, right? Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. And not it's the most prevalent type of dementia as well, but it's not dementia overall, right? There are many different types of Alzheimer's symptoms are not reversible at this time. And right, we have people who are into homeopathic medicine and things like that that may tell you something different. Clinical trials and Western medicine says that Alzheimer's is not reversible, right? And if it happens for some people, great. I'm sure it may have happened, right? And so what you want to do is make sure that you test early to get it detected early enough so that you can help slow the progression of the disease, right? You're not reversing it, but you want to do everything that you can to slow its progression and to right, ease its symptoms. So that's why early detection is really key, and getting tested multiple times throughout the lifespan of the disease is as well, because there are certain medications that will only be available to a loved one in the beginning stages of the disease, and then you may have to readjust the dosage of different medications, etc. So you want to get tested early, get it detected early, get on any protocol that's available to you or your loved one early, and then continue to make adjustments as needed, right? Towards the end of my mom's disease, the medication that she was on just wasn't serving any purpose for her. So we took her off of it, because why give her meds if really she's beyond what the meds are capable of helping with, right? And so that's something that came up. It cannot be cured. It can be managed potentially. Um, your stress as a caregiver can negatively affect the well-being of your loved one and their behavior. So it's important for you to practice self-care, self-love, and do anything that needs to keep you zen or will help you keep you zen, so that as you're caring for your loved one, you are doing so in a manner that doesn't reflect the stress that you are under, because you will be under stress, right? But you want to try to manage it. And so managing that and not showing it, and they can sense it, right? So you really have to do a great job of staving it off and doing whatever you need to do to remain calm, so that your feelings don't affect them and set them off with the agitation and anxiety and all things that will then make you more upset, right? Um, Things that can be a precursor to or contributor to Alzheimer's disease and its development. High cholesterol, high blood pressure. Those are two things that my mom had, right? And your nutrition, right? And lack of water in your system that then prevents your body and your blood from taking oxygen to your brain. Like these are things that are really going to affect, um, that are really going to possibly play a role in your loved one and you even developing Alzheimer's. So, right, in our community, we always want to be mindful of high blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes and your diet, right, Dr. Michelle? Because they affect every aspect of your life in some way adversely for the most part. And so you want to be mindful of that, especially when it comes to this disease. We don't need anything to help exacerbate this disease. We don't need anything to help anyone to develop this disease because it is a horrible, and I say this like this, horrible, horrid disease that you just don't want to have any parts of if you can help it, which brings me to another piece, and that is that you can be predisposed to getting, right, and genetically predisposed to developing Alzheimer's disease if it's in your family, but it's not necessarily the case that you will develop Alzheimer's just because it runs in your family. So when you take better care of yourself by eating well, by exercising, by remaining mentally stable or active, by watching your blood pressure and all the health things that you can do, you're giving yourself a better opportunity to not develop Alzheimer's, even though it is something that runs in your family. And that also does not mean that because it hasn't run in your family that you won't develop it, right? So everyone is susceptible to getting Alzheimer's. You usually see people 65 and above who develop Alzheimer's. However, there is such a thing as early onset Alzheimer's, which can be developed as early as 30 years old, right? When you have the memory loss, when you have the erratic behavior and some other things that that you see in the disease itself, the distractions, like I am distracted often. I laugh about it, and I'm going to be very careful with my words and not even say what I was going to say, because what you speak has power, so I'm not even going to put out there in what I was about to say. So I take it all back. And what else do we have? Depression and Alzheimer's was another topic in there, and it is that that Alzheimer's and those who are suffering from Alzheimer's have bouts with depression, and then there's depression outside of it as well. And so you don't want to get the two mixed up, but recognize that it is a common symptom or byproduct of Alzheimer's that your loved one ends up being depressed, right? They are in their heads, locked in their heads, and can't really who you are, where they've lost privileges and can't do the things that they used to do for themselves. So they've lost their independence, right? And so because of that, they are susceptible to developing depression as well. And we want to make sure that we get them the help that they need. We always want to talk to a provider that is certified or who has practiced and familiar with those who have Alzheimer's or dementia, right? Doctors are great. They know what they know, but you need a doctor who knows what you need them to know for your loved one, right? And so talking to a gerontologist or a geriatric psychologist would be really helpful, especially in instances for your loved ones when they are suffering from depression due to their disease and their state. And so I did hit on all of the different points that I had written down, at least for that. And there's just a lot to unpack when you start to think about all of these pieces of Alzheimer's. And you just want to make sure that you are as knowledgeable as possible about the disease in advance. In the event that if it runs in your family, you definitely want to learn more about it so you can start to recognize any signs and symptoms within yourself or within your loved one. And then you want to act on it, get them seen, get them assessed, and get them on a protocol that may help them throughout the illness. Okay, so have a great evening, everyone. If you're celebrating the 4th of July, enjoy, be safe, please, and thank you. And put those fireworks down in a decent hour because don't nobody want to hear all that all night. Okay, so anyway, have a good evening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.